the first live broadcast on Hangout On Air by Google here at the University of Missouri, the Memorial Union Student Building, located in the heart of the beautiful University of Missouri campus. So, complicated conversation in the post-9/11 era, engaging different communities and hard conversation about the changes that happen in our lives post-9/11, as well as the most pressing issues the world is facing today. Before we can engage in hard and difficult conversations, it is important that we have a deeper understanding of one another. It's hard to do, and it took me a lot of years to figure it out, and about 286 pages of academic work where I engaged 4 Arab Muslim women in hard conversations, not one but 4, and from Saudi Arabia, from Yemen, Jordan, and Morocco. To this day, they're the ones who encourage me to keep the conversation going, and that's how I end up on this live broadcast tonight. One of the most important steps, very first step in complicated conversation, is that we have to connect communities, and that's exactly what I'm trying to do tonight. Well, it looks like it failed for the first time, but there's also another live broadcast. We're still live? All right, we're back on. Okay, I never move forward with any presentation without first thanking the military and recognize the enormous sacrifices and the bravery and patriotism and the service that you give in your life for this great nation. So, thank you very much. So, what is complicated conversation? Complicated conversation is not something that I made up, or it's not something that I imagine or stumble upon. It is it has an important personal and historical and academic underpinnings. I grew up in the Philippines during the dictatorship, the Marcos regime, and he declared the martial law when I was 9 years old, and he lifted it when I was 18. So that time there was a lot of repression and brutality and hunger and poverty. I could say that I have a deeper understanding on what's happening in many places in the world right now when we're talking about brutality and killings and torture. And I understand what's the pain that people are going through from Baghdad, Tikrit, Ramadi, Kirkuk, Fallujah, Mosul, and all the way to Aleppo, Syria. And not to forget our friends in Yemen. My friend Asma, like my sister, I know you're watching right now, and you told me during the Boston bombings perpetrated by Joker and Tamerlan Sarnaya that your mother, your sister, your friends wept and sobbed and cry and mourn for the loss of lives of the American people, Americans, and mourn for the American people. Today, tonight, I do the same for your people in Sunnah, and I wish for their and hope for their safety and their security and peace. Inshallah, my friend. Despite what's happening in the world, it looks like in chaos and in disarray and it's falling apart. I want to share with you that even though I experienced some of this very hard times and challenging times, but I want to tell you also that I took part in the People Power Revolution at EDSA in 1986. where people have come together and fought for their freedom and won. And this is something, as a Filipino, I'm very proud of. But during the Marcos regime, there was a lot of poverty, as I told you, and people struggling and fear. And I wrote about it on my memoir, Beyond the Shadow of 3,000 Pair of Shoes, where I ended up on the streets begging for food with other kids to survive, and sleeping on a concrete bench, concrete floors, covered in newspapers, hiding from bad people. But look at me right now, where I'm standing. I'm standing in front of you. My friends, the Mizzou Tigers, the NMSU Aggies, my friend Julia Parra, my friend Yasmin Yunus, and Jason Smallview, and the rest of you, the global community. I am here, standing in front of you with courage, with strength.